Hello, hello. I wanted to bring through some channeled messages for this week of February 23rd. Um, before I came on here, I just simply asked, what is the message that the world needs to hear right now? And I'm opening myself up as a clear and present channel, and these messages are for you. There's this sense that a lot of people are walking around with right now of like, what do I do with myself? How do I show up in the world? How do I make a difference? How do I make an impact? And there's a lot of people who have a deep sense that they're meant to serve and that they're meant to work in community and work with other women, typically the people in my circle anyways. But it's working with the other, how can I support others? And because we can see that there's a lot of people that are and systems and countries and governments that are really not aligned with how we view the world and how we desire for the world to be. And so it's very confusing when you're sort of seemingly feeling like you're in your own little world and you're looking out and you're like, this isn't aligning with me. So what action can I take? How can I make an impact so that there's more harmony and more peace and more love in the world? We look over here and we see bad things happening. We look over here and we see bad things happening. And maybe there's some areas in our lives where we get particularly stuck and it can be kind of painful and isolating, right? And the message that is coming through is that it really is about finding that peace within and then taking action. Yes, you're taking action along the way, but we've spent so much time and energy bypassing, and I'll deal with that later. And that emotion is too big for me to hold. So I'm just going to stuff it, you know, just push it down and just move on. And the world has really been operating in this way in a lot of ways. Um, Energy and resources is going to be a very big topic very, very soon. And there's these messages coming out in that, the government knows how to handle it and these systems know they're going to be able to manage our resources. And I'm like, I don't really know if I have faith in that because the powers that be haven't really been particularly managing things too well. There's a lot of communities that still don't have water, even in Canada. And now, like, everything's kind of in our face, you know? And so it's like, okay, well, isn't the priority then getting water to communities? Isn't that the priority? And so I think the world's kind of messaging that comes in is we need to hurry up, we need to solve the problem, we need to fix things right now, we need to do this, we need to do that, we need to do that, we need to keep going, we need to keep going. And I truly feel that a lot of us are like, well, what if we pause? And what if we let ourselves be in this liminal space for more than a second, more than a minute, more than a month, more in that in-between space of going, I see that and I see how it worked and I see, sort of like why it was done the way that it was done. I kind of see why I carry the things that I carry the way that I carry them and my thoughts and my patterns and my behaviors, because I have this awareness. And I feel that a lot of us are like, okay, we're gonna need to start stepping up. We're gonna need to start taking more action. We're gonna and it's it's perpetuating that same energy. It's a generator energy. If you're familiar with human design, as you likely are if you're here, um, since it's, projector focused, but really this is more of a expansive message. But you can feel that sense of the generator world being what feels comfortable because it's what we've always done. We're just like, okay, we just got to keep going and then things will be okay. And we just got to keep doing this and we just got to keep doing that. And if you are familiar with human design and you are a generator, there's nothing wrong with that. Like we need generators. But the world operating in the generator energy is wearing itself out. It's wearing itself out is the way that I see it. It's kind of fizzling a little bit. And it's because people are tired. It's because people aren't necessarily getting the support that they need to continue running at that pace. And so people are tired and people are sick and people are struggling and people are doing their best and they're showing up as much as they can and they're managing everything as much as they can and they're trying to integrate, spiritual practices and self-care and doing the things. But ultimately, you can feel that it's a little bit bigger than that. It's like, hold on a minute. Like, if I know how I'm meant to be in the world, can I trust the pace that I need to operate at? Can I trust my pace? Can I trust my pace? Can I trust the pace of what is happening for me? And I catch myself here all the time. And it's been confusing because people say to me, "Oh, Laura, you seem so calm and you're very peaceful and you give off this energy." And I'm so grateful when I hear that because it reminds me that there is that aspect of myself. There is this part of me that is calm, that is connected, that is in deep connection with source. And I get caught in how long is it going to take? When is the thing going to be fixed? How long is it going to take for these systems to change? Why is this happening this way? Oh, I get so mad when it happens that way. And it's this loop that we get caught on. I'm not alone, but like, maybe I'm the only one who goes through this. Um, so the message is really about recognizing that space in yourself where you know that there's infinite resources, where you know that there is this expansive energy for you to tap into. And if you start feeling like you're moving into all of the details of like how, what, when, where, why, and it's good to contemplate those things. Don't get me wrong. Like there's definitely like a time and place for contemplation to reflect on those things, right? But if we're getting focused on that piece where we're like, this has got to go this way, and this has got to go that way, and how is this going to work? I invite you to step back and go, okay, hold on. That feels really familiar, and that feels like how I've been living my life. That's how the world has been operating. And I'm going to bring my attention back to myself. And I make these gestures because it's literally how I see it sometimes is especially like if you know some of my story, you know that I've dealt with migraine episodes. And when you have a migraine, you literally feel like you're kind of partly out of your body. And it's very painful and there's lots of nerve stuff that goes along with it. And it's a whole thing. It's a very uncomfortable state of being, to say the least. But anyways, this I don't mean to say, but anyways. Um, yeah. What I mean to say is that that's a whole other tangent, right? So I had to catch myself and bring myself back. That the analogy that I was trying to use is that we get caught up in the worldly outer expectations. And I literally feel like we have to kind of go like this, like bring ourselves back and bring ourselves back. And remember that the light, the love, the compassion, the creativity, spirit, source, all of this is within us. And that's how we connect to it, is by turning inward and feeling and sensing and seeing and knowing that light within. And then we express, right? So that's why I use the hand gestures of like bringing myself back, literally bringing myself back. And this can be just little practices. This can be bigger practices. It really is tuning in, saying like, what do I need right now? What does my body need? What does my spirit need? What does my mind need? What does my emotional health need? Like, and not what I think I should do, especially on a Monday. Today's a Monday that I'm recording this, and I could feel myself getting caught in should. And then I went within and I said, what does the world need to hear today? Prior to that, I got the nudge to create. I got the nudge to do a video. I got the nudge to do something creative on Instagram. And so there was a series of nudges, a series of pieces of guidance that came in that led me to do this channeled message for you. And there's lots of ways that I could have talked myself out of it, but I showed up and I did it. And it's really so important to be able to do that. And a lot of us don't live our lives where we're able to completely 1,000% always follow that guidance, because we have responsibilities, accountabilities, different things pulling at us. But I think that's shifting, because I think that we're getting a clearer understanding of what is our priorities, how to prioritize, how to, you know, honor ourselves and honor our rituals and our devotion and our practices as not just something that we do for fun, and hopefully it is fun, but also the things that we're doing for ourselves is the thing, because then we go out in the world and that is going to ripple out. It's inevitable that it's going to ripple out. One, I'm just going to give one more example of a place that I get caught is, but is it enough? And this has been a really big theme for me this last almost year and a half, actually. I kind of stepped more fully into my business and made some bigger commitments. And so much of what was being shown to me were the places where I don't feel like I'm enough. And I'm not doing enough. I'm not enough in the world. I'm not helping enough. I'm not doing enough. I'm not, there's another word that's trying to come through, successful enough. I'm not living my purpose enough. Whatever. All the enoughness was coming through hard for me last year. Like it was uncanny how many things came up around that. And so, I think there's this invitation to come back around and to recognize that whatever you're doing, or however you're living when you're connected to source, is exactly where you need to be. And there's a lot of ways that you can get stuck here too. Like you can bypass and you can freeze and you can disassociate, and that's a whole other conversation, right? But when you're taking action from that place of connection, that is what's going to like open the way for more to come through. You'll become a more clear and present channel. The more that you live from that place of internal peace and connection and love and compassion and, um, like, what's the word? Like no separateness, right? There's no separateness. You'll start to feel this beautiful flow moving through your life. And I know you felt it. I know you have felt it. Um, But what I'm seeing is like the creek, and you move a rock, you move a boulder, you move a stone, you move something, and the water just can flow through a little bit more rapidly. And that's not necessarily why you're doing the thing, but it's what's going to happen for you. And when you feel that stuckness, that you want to get unstuck. But being fully present with where you're stuck and being fully present with where you're not allowing that flow to come through, which can be thinking, I'm not enough, I'm not enough, I'm not enough, can be as an example of a block. Once you move that block, then you're allowing for more of, source and energy to come through. And that's going to lead you to the next thing. So right now, there's this in-between space where everybody's kind of going, I don't really like this. Like, I don't really feel very comfortable. I don't really know what I'm doing with myself. I don't really know what's next. There's kind of this like unease. And we kind of just got to reach out and hold each other's hands and just, we're in this together and we're holding the circle together. Like we're holding the moment together. And a friend of mine posted this beautiful reel where she is like, now is the time. That's why we're being magnetized to each other. It's why we're coming together more than ever. And love it or hate it, being online is a way for us to connect, right? So there's something that's magical that's happening, and I think it's increasing in momentum, but not in like I got to do the thing, got to do the thing, got to do the thing. It's like this slow, methodical, purposeful, intentional momentum of continuing to be a more clear and present channel. So I just invite you to keep checking in with yourself, keep tuning in, keep listening, keep being curious, and let yourself flow when you can, and let yourself be in connection with what is happening around you, in you, for you, all the things. All the things are happening at once. Let me know if these messages resonate with you. If you have any questions, you can also find me on Instagram, which is just Lori Dawn O. And yeah, I look forward to connecting again soon.